Keaton.
Howdy.
Hey man, what's up?
What's up, Keaton?
What was that?
What's up, Keaton?
All right. I'm not sure. I missed the very beginning of the podcast, but I don't think y'all talked about this. But Valve announced their new Steam operating system this week.
Oh, yes, they did.
And, I was talking to a guy at work, and for me, I've been reading about that for a while, and I never thought that it was something that was in demand. For me, I play on the PC all the time. That's my main console. I don't really see a need for a living room console. But I was talking to a guy about it, and he was actually really excited about it. He said he has a lot of games on the PC that he wishes he could play, but he hates sitting at a computer and playing games. And apparently that's a pretty general consensus among a lot of people. And I was just wondering what you guys thought about that. With the new Steam box, are you going to get something like that so that you can play some PC exclusive games on your couch?
I can speak for Kevin and say that applies to him too. He has a lot of games on Steam and doesn't want to sit at his Mac and play them. So that is absolutely... he was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, I'll probably get that because I can play all those games I already have. Oh, sorry. I'm going to sneeze.
Salute.
But that is... he just told me that yesterday. And I don't know if I'm going to get one, but I won't sit at a computer and play games. I will not do that. I'm at a computer so much that it doesn't appeal to me. And I know a lot of people who are like that. So I don't know. I think that's a big enough market. But even if it isn't, it's not like they have to really break the bank to introduce this. It's like, hey, if you want this, here's this control. It's not like they're launching a console.
Yeah, I think that. Part of me feels like if you really wanted to play your PC on a television, you could have figured out a rig to already do that.
It's so easy to do it. It's ridiculous.
So,
yeah, they're just streamlining it. Whatever. Sure.
I wonder if there is going to be a market for that because, if you already have Steam and you really wanted to make it happen, you could. Are you going to invest so much money to get a new rig in your living room? I'm not sure. I think. Yeah. I'm not against it, but I wonder how big the audience for that really is.
I have zero interest in it.
Yeah, I feel like
at all.
There's a small number of people who are really into the idea, but I think for the most part, you're either a console gamer or you play on PC and you're happy with the system how it is.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the way the consoles are. I don't need PC games on. I don't know. I don't think I've looked at a PC game and gone, man, I wish I could play that.
The only game I can remember thinking that was like Crysis, and then I didn't ever play that.
What about MOBAs like Dota?
I dabble, so it's.
Have
not
you guys seen the new MacBook? The new computer Mac is designing? It is a circle.
Oh, the new Tower G4.
Not a MacBook. The
Power Mac. Excuse me. Yeah, the new tower that they're designing, which is like a circle with a hollow center with fans in it. They're like redesigning.
Yeah, it's a big drum. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is selling out in Japan.
Really? Why?
For some reason, Japan loves that design.
Those things are so fucking loaded with power, and Japanese always want the really high power computer systems, and it's designed.
Okay, why?
Really
it's
good.
Why is it a tube or a drum?
I think the mentality was computers have been designed the same way for 20 to 30 years and nobody's really questioned the design, so we're going to set out to see if we can create a more efficient design that regulates heating and just makes it more powerful. I don't know if I'll get it because I've never had a Mac, but I feel like if it is a successful design, I can't wait to see a PC company
do something like
rip it off and make their own.
Yeah.
Because I'll probably get that.
They're just working on cooling it down?
I'm not sure, but
I'm sure part of it's a gimmick thing.
I'm sure part of it is just an aesthetic. This is just a new looking thing.
I mean, remember that one Mac generation where it was a little pod and then a monitor that came off on kind of like a rig setup like we use for the lights. I think it was only around for 1 year. Do you remember what I'm talking about? It was an iMac.
Kind of.
It was a little round base,
little half dome.
And it had a fucking arm,
swivel arm. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. I remember
that the monitor was on. It was weird. I think they always go for different ideas for how the shape of things should look. So I don't know. It's a computer. People can get it, I guess.
It's a computer.
People can get it.
Well, speaking on that point, with Apple, it seems like they still are coming out with some fresh ideas, but they are struggling with the loss of jobs. And Windows, I know a lot of people are huge fans of the new Slate. Who do you think is really coming out ahead in this sort of new generation of PCs and tablets?
I do think that Apple is hurting without Steve Jobs there. I also think that Microsoft hasn't necessarily filled a gap that Steve Jobs left because,
I think
it's honestly, I feel like both companies are neck and neck right now. Where Apple was ahead, maybe they've fallen back a little bit. I don't feel like Microsoft has overtaken them as an innovative company just yet, but it might happen.
Microsoft, it's good, like they're trying stuff, but right now it's all catch up to Apple.
I'm so fucking tired of this is going to be the iPad killer.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be the iPhone killer.
Yeah.
Hey,
they need to make their own thing.
Fucking
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
And stop it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's definitely what Microsoft is working more towards. I don't think they're competing with the iPad as much. They've kind of blocked that out. They're like, we have an idea, we have a concept, we're going to go with it. But if it beats the iPad, it's because it's better. That's not our goal.
I'm pretty sure they still have a commercial where it's like a fake Siri voice.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And you know what's funny about that commercial is it's a comparison of like Microsoft tablet does this and the iPad doesn't do it. The iPad does every single one of those things.
Yeah, and also when someone that I work with was talking about getting that Google tablet, but they couldn't name the Google tablet. They just kept naming the iPad. Yeah, and it does this and the iPad doesn't. You can't name the thing that you keep telling me you're going to buy, but you keep naming iPad by name.
That's why I brought this up, because I was going to make that point specifically. It doesn't matter. Everything is Apple always markets their things so well that even if it can't do something, you're going to know what it is. So when you go out, you're like, oh yeah, but I don't like. You're always looking for something that isn't that. So it's like, what's the market like? What's the market really looking for? Like, what are consumers really looking for? They either want that device that Apple's marketing to them, or they want the thing that does it but isn't the iPad. Either way, they know the name. That Apple put out there. So I think that says a lot. That is what sticks out to me more than anything. Is that people are always looking for the opposite of an Apple device or an Apple device. That's kind of the market now.
Yeah, there's only two categories. You really don't see it. You have Apple and then Apple competitors, and that speaks volumes about the success of Apple.
And it's funny because Microsoft really did come up with the tablet first.
Yeah.
But Apple took it and owned it and didn't say, well, now what Microsoft did, we
didn't talk
we
about
did
the
it
competition
better,
at all.
but theirs sucks. Watch this. And it is completely, we are on our own thing. And I can see, I think Microsoft just needs to find a way to do something
Honestly,
that isn't just.
I feel like Microsoft ads are geared towards unintelligent people. And I agree. I hope it's not insulting, but who watches that ad that says, we're better, you can't do it, we're better, and thinks to themselves, whoa, they're better?
Well, it's people who don't know anything about tablets.
Yeah.
Because everybody who already wants a tablet has one at this point.
Which is what Samsung really gunned for that in their. Remember their iPhone?
Yeah.
They ripped on the iPhone and look at all the stupid people waiting for the iPhone. And but hey, they sold a ton of phones because there are a lot of people that just go, ha, yeah, and buy it.
I think the best company to come out with anything that is that related. They did, and I think Amazon did it the best way. They had their own little thing. Yeah. They had the Kindle Fire.
I like the Kindle.
Or I'm sorry, they had the Kindle, and then they just went, well, I guess we can also make this a tablet, can't we? Yeah. And then they slowly made it into a tablet, but never went, hey guys, this is going to replace this thing.
Yeah.
It was, hey, the Kindle Fire has dual, like Dolby Audio, all this stuff, and you're like, oh, well, I already have a Kindle. I'm used to this service. This does other services too, and I can still get my books. Oh, I think I'll get this as well. And as far as I understand, anybody who's bought it really likes it. It's a reliable device. So I thought that was the best way to go about it. Just do your own thing.
I think the Kindle is nice. I think it's a nice.
Oh yeah, the Kindle.
If you want to read books and play Plants vs Zombies, it's a great little device.
And go on Facebook.
It's a great little tablet.
I work at an office retailer, and we sell everything is either iPad, iPhone, or Kindle. There is everything else is just generic, 7-inch tablet. Those are the two huge ones. Oh yeah, they actually
chill on the Nook. I think they're.
It's a little too in my face about the Nook.
Yeah, we have so much Nook crap, but nobody buys any of it, and it's like people come in and they'll look at. We have Nooks sitting out, and we're like, yeah, we don't even sell those. We have them sitting out. We can't take them down, but. I wouldn't buy it anyways. Buy anything else.
The Nook is so funny because I feel like who's going to Barnes & Noble and thinking, I want to get something that's not a book?
So I don't have to come back.
Yeah, like they designed a device that completely destroys their business.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's their way of they went through this fear of like, shit, we're gonna lose it to ebooks, so let's at least put our foot in the ebooks market, But it's like, hey, personally, I feel like the Kindle's out there, it's rocking. Make people wish they always had physical books when they walk in your store. You know what I mean? Barnes & Noble owns that market.
Yeah.
Push that. When you walk in the door, make people go, fuck ebooks. Look at how great regular books are. You know what I mean?
I don't like ebooks. I like holding an act. I like the tactile.
I prefer that. Yeah. I like traveling with I have the stand on my iPad, and it's great because I don't have to carry the whatever. But when I'm at home, I'd rather.
I like analog things. Devices are cool and they make life convenient, but they'll never replace. Yeah. As far as something that I cherish and love. I'll love an old, beautiful, nice book with a good story. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'll ever fall in love with a Nook or a Kindle.
Any book I ever started reading on iBooks, I always stop reading because the way I read books, I don't just sit there and like turn the page and like not pay attention to the actual like physical pages. Whenever I read with like a pencil and I underline and write notes about things that I think are interesting about what I'm reading. If I think it's important, it helps me like pay more attention to what I'm reading so that if there's something in the story that comes up like several times, like a lot of themes that are more subtle, it's like, oh, I remember that from like before, and then I earmark pages with good lines.
Yeah. Growing up, I had this book. I was a huge Simpsons fan, and I had Bart Simpson's Guide to Life. Still to this day, one of my favorite books because it was so fun to just browse it, and they did so many things that you couldn't do on a Nook. Like they would put little liner jokes that would. I remember one thing that I always thought was so brilliant about that book was on random pages they would tell you, if you want to know the meaning of life, turn to this page, and that message would be hidden somewhere on the page. It'd go to page 139, and you go to page 139, and you'd have to look around, and somewhere hidden on those liners would be like, if you want to find the meaning of life, turn to this page. And it was just a wild goose chase because eventually the pages would restart. But it was fun as a kid to have this book full of interesting things. You can't do that on a digital device.
But somebody brought up a good point that was like, yeah, if you have a lot of books for school or whatever, it's nice to have the one device that's like this.
Hey, I will say for school books, I'd rather have that.
But I'm
that's an educational device, and that's cool.
Exactly, but I'm 27 and I don't do that ever.
The best thing, I think, the only thing that draws me to this when I want to read a piece of entertainment is that, like, remember when they put out that, like, Yellow Submarine interactive book? I don't know if you actually saw it.
I got that.
I got that. It was free, and you go through it, and like a word would do kind of what you were saying. A word would be highlighted. You tap it, and then like a piece of media would pop up from the actual like cartoon of Yellow Submarine, and then you'd see all the blue meanies and part of the story, whatever.
Yeah.
So that to me is really interesting because that's not just, but that's more like, to me, that works better for like learning devices. Because that was cool with something from the past. But if I'm doing that with like, the Lost Encyclopedia, it's like, no, I like the big pictures that I have on this.
Yeah, I will say, like, I'm only really talking about, when it comes to reading or whatever, I'm talking about like novels and stuff. But when it comes to like an art book or something, I'm getting a physical for probably. I would never even think about that.
Yeah.
With something like that.
So
personally.
Keaton, that's how we feel about books.
Hey, that's interesting.
I thought that was a very good question that led to a very good book discussion. I was not expecting to speak about books.
Isn't that jagged brutal? It's like another person hugging you.
It's like putting on an oven.
Yeah. I danced around in that for 2 minutes and was like, well, I'm done.
Holy shit.
Anyway.
When winter comes,
you're good to go. Hey, thanks, Keaton.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You think, Derek, you'd be the only person I know that'd probably get that Steambox thing. Do you think you'd ever get that?
I don't know if I need it because with an HDMI cable, I can stream my.
You have it
I
running.
can hook my computer up to my living room TV.
I just did that with my MacBook.
Pretty sure I can just plug an Xbox controller into my computer, or some equivalent.
And whatever, they're streamlining it. So okay, cool. That's fine. But I don't know how many people will get that.
If you got that Steam box, could you use it as a regular computer?
I don't know.
I think you can. Huh. I think so.
I'm kind of interested in that controller. That looked really interesting.
I want to try that. Yeah, I have no idea.
Just as a piece of like technology, it looks, it's different. It's really, really cool.
Hey, I don't know who in the chat keeps saying, "Look up Vine for you."
What's a spammer?
Yeah, it's spam shit.
So you're talking to?
Okay, I'm talking to nobody.
Robots.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tiebler. Y'all just explained something to me new. Spammers.